right, Shalom, everybody. Before we get started, we're going to face the east and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim, Makakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for bringing us this truth. Honors to the brothers that's pushing this truth, risking their life and freedom to do so. And Shalom to the hopeful elect, the true believers in Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shai, that's returning to him during these last days, so that he may have mercy on them in this time of judgment. All right, before we get started, all right, forgive me. So we're gonna check out our daily news. We're gonna see what's going on with Russia, Ukraine, and the U.S. Now, it's really more going on than what I'm about to go into. I'm just doing a quick YouTube search. All right, 4 days ago, U.S. and Russia clashed over Ukraine during UN meeting. So I was looking at this earlier this week. So the U.S. and Russia, they didn't just have a disagreement; they was having a clash. Like they had a full-blown argument. So this stuff is not going to de-escalate. It's not going to die down. 3 hours ago, American soldiers training with Ukrainian troops. And also, some more news: the U.S. looked up and admitted that Ukraine may already be a part of NATO, because the U.S. said if they attack any of the NATO members, or if they attack Ukraine, they attack all the NATO members. So, according to Article 5, that if you attack anybody from NATO, all of NATO is going to attack that country that's attacking that one country in NATO. So they could have secretly did something, or the U.S. could just be acting out of pride. But let's see what else we got real quick before we continue. U.S. troops in absolute danger amid Russia-Ukraine tensions. So, yup, they are in danger. First U.S. troops arrive in Germany as Ukraine says Russia deployed additional troops. So America is sending their troops all over the place, all over Europe, all over Ukraine. Ooh. Russia receives strong support from China in Ukraine standoff. What was the farming off-grid desert with Paul saying? That if we fight Russia, we're gonna have to fight China. And he was spot on with that. Because Russia and China been coordinating their military military drills and stuff. This was breaking news 21 hours ago, so pretty much yesterday. U.S. troops enter Ukraine. Russia fires first shot. NATO calls on Putin for peace talks. How is NATO calling for peace with Putin, when America being the aggressor, they saying that they're going to try to talk Russia down. Well, you can't talk Russia down if you steady sending troops to Ukraine, which borders Russia. That's like if I got my partners running up on you and I'm trying to call for peace. Well, I can call for peace by stop sending my homies after you. That's the first step to peace. Is withdraw yourself from the situation. One day ago, Russia-Ukraine conflict. U.S. to send additional troops to Eastern Europe. 23 hours ago, U.S. Air Force planes land in Poland to bolster country's defenses. All right, let me see what this says. This is U.S. warns China over Russia sanctions. Putin sends warships to Syria in message to NATO. So the reason we look at these headlines, what's in the news every day, is because we keep an eye on prophecy. Because in looking at this, we keeping our eye on the Lord. Because when this war pops off, America's gonna be the first loser. Then so we know as soon as the war pop off, that's when Yahawadah and the holy angels, they're gonna make themselves manifest to where we can see them. So that's why we look at this every day. We seeking the return of the Lord. It's like if you at a bus stop, um, and you see a wave of traffic coming, you start looking, okay, is the bus in this traffic? Well, same thing with the Lord. Be like, is the fighting started yet? Because if the fighting started, hey, the Lord is pretty much here. We about to see him for ourselves. And that's in Luke 12:49. We're going to show that real quick. Luke chapter 12, verse 49. I am come to send fire on the earth. Nah, that's a threat. That's a war threat. I am come to send fire on the earth. And what's fire from an earthly standpoint? These nuclear missiles, these bombs, these napalms. But Yahweh Shai and the holy angels, they got their own form of firepower too. So again, I am come to send fire on the earth. And what will I if it be already kindled? So the Lord said he's coming to bring his firepower to start a fight. And he said, what will I if the fire be already kindled? Saying, what will I do if the fighting already started? It's kind of like you got the last day of school, somebody fighting, the random people just start jumping in to hit somebody because they see everybody else fighting. The same thing here with Yahweh Shai. And it's already going to be fire being shot off all over the earth. So Yahweh Shai going to send his fire on the earth too. And that's why we so diligently look out for World War III and what's going on between the U.S. and Russia. And also, the day that the Lord returns, that's judgment for America. And America is going to be destroyed that day. And so we can look at World War III as a marker for the day of the Lord. And we don't want to miss that day. Because what does 1 Thessalonians 5:2 say? But of the times and the seasons, brethren. But of the times and the seasons. What times are we in? The end times. What's the season? The season of prophecy. The season of World War III. This is the season. We never in the season for the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai. But again, but of the times and the seasons, brethren. Brethren is an old school term for brother. So this is a brotherhood. This is a bloodline. This is not for everybody. This is for the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And I'm gonna get on that in a minute. But this is a bloodline. This is not for everybody. And this is Paul speaking. And when Paul says brethren, he says this in all his epistles. And epistles are letters, such as the book of Romans, Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Thessalonians. Um, those are all letters. Even the books of Timothy, uh, Peter, Titus, them are letters to the brethren, to the Israelites. It wasn't to everybody else. It wasn't to Rome. It wasn't to the Greeks. It wasn't to. Um, we was living amongst the Greeks and the Romans, so that's why he wrote to the Greeks and to the Romans. And some of our people identified as Greeks, just how some of our people identify as Americans. But a portion of us is coming back to our Hebrew and our Israelite heritage. But again, Thessalonians 5 and 1. But other times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. So that's who Paul was writing to. He was writing to their brethren, to the Israelites. Where he says, you have no need that I write unto you. Meaning, I don't need to mention this, but for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. So the day of the Lord is going to come as a thief in the night. So that tells you that these missiles are going to come as a thief in the night. And how does a thief in the night come? It comes unexpectedly. It's suddenly. You be going about your day-to-day routine so diligently, then all of a sudden it just happens. You don't know where it came from or how it happened. It's just there. Then when you're not expecting something, it sneaks up on you. So it seems like it happens real fast. Like when you're driving, doing your routine in traffic, and then you get into an accident, people often say, oh, it came out of nowhere. It happened so fast. Because when you're not looking out for something, it happens quickly. So for those who not abiding in this truth, the day of the Lord, these missiles being shot off to America, is going to happen very quickly. But us in this truth, we keep an eye out for it. So it's not like we slowing it down, but um, it's going to be less of a surprise to us. And also, when you waiting or expecting something, it does seem to happen a little more slowly. Like when you were a kid waiting on Christmas, it seemed like it take forever. But that's kind of us with the day of the Lord. It's gonna seem like it's moving or dragging, but overall it's gonna happen quickly. So these missiles gonna come as a thief in the night, and so is the Lord. Now, it's something that I mentioned sometime in one of my lives last week. I think this is literal. I think the Lord is literally going to come as a thief in the night, meaning I believe he's going to come to America. I think he's going to return during the nighttime. But I could be going off, so we're not going to get too deep into that. But this is why we look at this. We don't want to be taken by surprise. Because everybody that get taken by surprise, they wouldn't abide in the truth, and they weren't being occupied in prophecy. The scriptures say to be occupied in prophecy. And like y'all look for the weather to know how to dress or how you gonna spend your weekend, we look out for the prophecies. Not to dictate what we gonna do, but just to warn the people, to let them know how close we are, to let them know the times and the seasons, as we just read. One of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write it to you. And this is to the believers. This is not to all Israel. Because all Israel don't know the times and the seasons. But those who abide in this truth in these scriptures, uh, they perfectly understand the times and the seasons we in. And if we continue, for when they shall say, peace and safety, this sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And that's what's going to happen. So when a woman is pregnant with a child, when she travails a child, that water breaks. And that water breaks unexpectedly. The water be breaking on these women all over the place. Then once that water breaks, that child coming, it's no turning back. So that's the same thing with this with the peace and safety and its destruction. When America shall scream peace and safety, that's the water breaking. Then a child is going to be born, and when a child is born, um, the child enters into the world. So that child that's going to enter into the world, that man child, would be Yahawadah. So when they scream peace and safety, then the destruction cometh. Now destruction is going to bring Yahawadah, and they shall not escape, because these Americans is not going to escape. Now another thing that we can look to determine when this World War III is going to pop off is we can look at what's going on here in America. Now I seen a post on YouTube. If I see it, I try to screenshot it. It's pretty much said that all these countries, they ending, the C-19, the pandemic. Y'all know what I'm trying to get at, that sickness that started in 2020. They saying that all these countries is putting a stop to the measures that they was taking to fight the sickness. That they starting to let go of mandates. They starting to ease up. It's pretty much, it seems like it's dying off. Because for a while, the world was in chaos with all this stuff. But now that I look at it, well, he said that it's no coincidence that they ended their measures all of a sudden after 2 years. He said they up to something. And what I think is up is they're going to start screaming peace and safety. Oh, we can have peace now. We're safe. It's all over. Things are starting to get better. That may be what they're going to be trying to say in the coming weeks, especially once they roll out the MOB. But when stuff's starting to look like it's easing up in America and around the world, that's them screaming peace and safety. Then we know once they scream peace and safety, sudden destruction cometh upon them, then they should not escape. But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day shall overtake you as a thief. And we not in darkness, meaning we in the light, and the light is these scriptures, meaning we in understanding that the day of the Lord, the day of destruction, is not going to overtake us as a thief. Because when you see light and darkness in the scriptures, darkness means misinformation or not being informed about something. And light represents understanding and knowledge. That's why they got the term, oh, he in the dark about this subject, or he don't know what's going on, he in the dark. Or if you understand something, they say, oh, you come into the light, or you come into the understanding of it. So we know that the day is going to come suddenly. And verse 5. Oh, that's the spirit. So I'm going to read 4 and I'm going to go through 5. But ye brethren are not in darkness, that they shall overtake you as a thief. Ye are all children of the light. We are children of understanding of the scriptures, and the children of the day. We are not children of the night, nor of darkness. And meaning we don't abide in darkness. We abide in this truth, which is the light, which is the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures. Therefore, let us not sleep, as do others, but let us watch and be sober. And this don't mean physical sleep. This don't mean don't be spiritually sleep. Meaning, don't sleep on this truth. Now you got the term, people say, oh, you sleeping on me? You don't know what's going on? No, don't sleep on this truth. Don't put it down for a sec. Don't set it down for a day. Day and night being this truth. So don't sleep as others do. But it says, let us watch and be sober. And that sober don't mean don't be drunk and don't be high. I mean, you shouldn't be doing that stuff really anyway. But when it says sober, it means don't be drunk with other doctrines. Don't be following other ways. Once you in this truth, stay in this truth. Don't sleep on it. Watch according to the prophecies. Watch for the prophecies. And don't be following other doctrines while you're in this truth. Don't turn away from the truth and start following Islam or Scientology. Don't start looking at I can't even really remember what's all out there, but don't be drunk with these other doctrines. Pretty much whatever America presents to you. But let us, who are of the day, be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love. And this is faith in Yahawadah. And this love, not that bubbly feeling. This love is teaching and meditating the scriptures. and for a helmet, the hope of salvation. Because when you love, how did Yahawadah love the people? He loved the people by teaching. That's how he displayed his love. It was by teaching. He did miracles. He did a lot of miracles, but he taught every day, all day. That's how he showed his love. So um, when it says and love your brother and love your people, I mean you love them by not breaking the commandments against them, like stealing from them, killing them, sleeping with their wives, your brethren's wives. That's one way you show love, but you also show love by teaching, because this is the ultimate act of kindness. Giving somebody some words that could lead to them being saved from the Lord's wrath, that can lead to them getting the everlasting kingdom of heaven, that could lead to them getting eternal life. So that's why this is the ultimate act of love. So now we're gonna jump into some scriptures. Sometime last week, I talked about how captivity is all throughout the Bible, and and we, the Lord's people, went into captivity. We went in the harshest captivity of all people of the earth. The harshest captivity, the most dreadful captivity, and the longest captivity. And the brother I ran into, he said everybody went into captivity. Well, we don't give a damn about everybody, and the Lord don't give a damn about them either, because the Lord said, "My people shall go into captivity." The Lord don't care who else goes into captivity. He said, "My people," and we did. And what was done to us in our captivity was horrible. We was raped, robbed, and murdered, tortured, hung, fed the babies, was cut out the wombs of the mothers, fed the dogs, babies was taken in the middle of the night, fed the alligators, we was tarred and feathered, they burnt us in tubs of boiling hot sugar, they cut off our limbs while we was alive, they burnt us alive, and they hung us. Claude Neal, they cut off his thing and shoved it in his mouth. They was cutting off our fingers, throwing it to the white people in the crowd. When they would hang us, they would have picnics and food baskets to be eaten while we dying, suffocating, choking on our own blood. The people that stuff that we went through, we didn't go through in captivity. Now these other white people, I'm talking about the Irish. That wasn't slavery. They willingly went into captivity. So, for example, if you owe somebody your debt back in the older days, you could go into captivity under them to pay that debt off, or even the days before that. If there was a famine in your land, or you just lost the war, and you needed, a dominant power to keep you afloat, you could go into captivity into those around you. Go in as servants willingly, so that you can have access to food, water, and other resources, and not die off in your land that was stricken with poverty or that lost the war. So your civilization could survive. For us, we was taken unwillingly. We was taken against our will. And while we was taken, they still killed us. Now, if you got servants, you don't kill the servants, but they killed us. They bred us like horses. That's why they was killing us. We had to keep giving birth just so they could kill us. Then not only that, they stripped us of our heritage, which would be the knowledge of the Bible. Uh, Also, they stripped us of our identity. We forgot we was Israelites and Hebrews. We started calling ourselves colored Negroes, African Americans, Afro Americans, and every other thing that the white man called us. Mexicans, Indians. So they stripped us of our heritage, our knowledge of the Bible. They took our identity, and our Bible is a book of hope. And they took our hope from us. They literally took the Bible, but we couldn't read for so many years, or we would get hung just for reading. They beat us to death in the fields. We had to work in the beaming hot sun with whelps on our back. They raped our women, um, and not just the adult women, the young girls too. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, probably even younger than that. They raped the men. That's called buck breaking. They break a man by raping them, taking the biggest, strongest Negro males, and raping them in front of his children and his wife. So the stuff that was done to us wasn't done to nobody else. So I get real offended when people say, well, other people went into captivity. Well, the Lord gonna kill you for that. Because if the Lord mentioned the captivity in the Bible, it must be worth talking about. It must have been gruesome if the Lord talking about it. So the Lord talked about captivity throughout the Bible. If you're trying to dismiss our captivity, you're trying to dismiss the words of the Lord. Now you despise the word. And the Lord says that if you despise the word, you don't despise me, you despise the Heavenly Father that sent me. And it also says that if you despise the word, you're going to be destroyed. So you trying to dismiss or downplay our captivity, the Lord going to destroy you for that. Because we was treated as worse than animals, and we still are today. We still in captivity. There's a such thing as economic slavery, but some of you brothers, y'all too far gone. And also with that captivity, we had to be scattered first before we went into captivity. So I'm gonna get on some scriptures showing that Israel was scattered, and people often like to talk about, oh, well, all nations, this, all the Gentiles, all nations will be blessed through Abraham. That's not what they're talking about. We were scattered to all people, so that means that wherever we were scattered to, the Lord will bless us in those lands among those people. So with that being said, we gonna let me see. We're gonna jump to Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed, the children of Israel, shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, the Americas, and shall serve them, shall serve who? To serve the white man who brought us to America. And they shall afflict them. The white man shall afflict us, the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So again, thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. So that's two different things. Serving and being afflicted is two different things. We were serving and being afflicted. These other people that went into captivity, they went into captivity, but they wasn't afflicted. They wasn't tortured. They wasn't tormented. For us, we was forced to serve them, and we was afflicted, tormented for 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve, the white man who we served, who we still serving. It says, I will judge, because the Most High is going to judge them. The day of the Lord returning, is solely to judge the white man. It's to judge the Edomites. They the first they top priority when the Lord returns. But he's also going to judge everybody that's joined to them and everybody else that took us into captivity, you know. Um, but they been took us into captivity. The Lord wanted to come back for Esau when Esau was back in power. And afterwards shall they come out with great substance. And when the Lord judges this place, we're going to come out with great substance. All the riches of the world, all the gold, diamonds, precious jewels, and stones that they stole, is all going to be ours. And you should know they got this beast, Europe, NATO, they got some, man, I don't even know what number to put to it. But they got thousands and probably millions of tons of gold. And gold is highly valuable. So if you're gonna be rich off gold alone, and then the world gonna be ours, the earth. And that's the reason why I'm out here, um, every week. That's why I'm pushing videos through the week, because I want to be part of this number that comes out with great substance, and can take the world. I know a lot of y'all brothers, so the people that's doing this truth, this is a serious thing right here. This was a promise. then also the kingdom of heaven, the Lord is not going to take us to heaven. The kingdom of heaven is going to be here on earth. And we're going to show that real quick. Jeremiah 23 and 5. Behold, the days come. This is future prophecy. Saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and the king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. Revelation 5 and 10. And has made us unto our God kings and priests, because we are made unto Yahawadah as kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. We are going to reign. Who's reigning right now? It's the white man, the Edomites, the Romans. So, and look at what the white man can go all over the earth doing whatever he wants, without question, without penalty. We're going to get that same luxury, but we're going to do it better. We're going to have UFOs, which is called chariots of fire in the Bible. That's why the USA been seeing so many UFO sightings. The UFOs is the holy angels that's going to return and destroy this place and save the Lord's people. You're going to have all the riches, all the riches in the earth. We're going to have all the people. We're going to show that. Man, my phone tripping. Forgive me. Psalms 2 and 8. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. And this is to Yahawadah. Yahawadah is going to be given the uttermost parts of the earth. Meaning this entire earth is going to be given to Yahawadah. He's going to be king over the earth, or God and king over the earth. And it says, ask of me, and I'll give thee thy heathen. What's the heathen? All other groups of people, all the white people, all the Africans, all the Asians, all the Arabs, all the Indians, and everybody outside the nation of Israel. They're going to be given to Yahawadah. And us, being the Lord's chosen people, we receive salvation. We get to inherit the kingdom of heaven. We're going to rule on the earth. We're going to be given the uttermost parts of the earth, and we're going to be given the heathen as an inheritance. And the heathen, all these people, they're going to be our servants. And that's rightfully so, because all these other nations of people, all these heathen nations, they took us into captivity. And what does Revelation 13 and 10 say? Those who lead into captivity shall go into captivity. Go into captivity under who? Under us. So that's it. So that's the final play in this book right here. Everybody going to captivity under us. And I know, and for the people that's new to this, that's what this is about. That's why we fighting for this, because that's why the scriptures say, "Many are called, but few are chosen." I want to be chosen for this, and I want to be chosen first to receive mercy, so I don't be cut off in this great slaughter during Jacob's trouble, which a lot of us been going in about. After, and also with that, I don't want to die in this thermonuclear destruction. I don't want to be here when the missiles go off. Now, people got to imagine that. You got to imagine you see a bunch of nukes in the sky, then they start exploding, the fire coming towards you. I had a dream of that. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be part of none of the Lord's wrath. And then also, I want to receive salvation. I want to be beamed up into the chariots of fire. I want to be in the UFO. Just calling it like it is. Other than that, I wanna live. Well, this life we living in America, we ain't living, we dying. Each second go by, we closer to death. Breathing in all this poisonous stuff that they spraying in the skies, all the stuff that they sprayed on the foods, all the stuff that's in the water. We dying from it. Working 40 plus hours a week. That's killing us. Not getting enough sleep. That's killing us. Oppression itself kills you. It brings sicknesses and diseases and premature death. We ain't living. I want to live life how it's supposed to be lived. You're supposed to live life with freedom and power, and that's what we're gonna have. Freedom to do what we want, and righteousness and power. We are gonna take the earth. And the man of the Lord, when we receive salvation, we're gonna receive our new bodies. Then when we receive our new bodies, we're gonna literally take the earth. And if y'all look up this movie called Brightburn, this little boy, he crash landed from another planet as a baby. He got raised up as a human, but in the book, he kept writing uh, how he was going to take the earth. Then he wrote "take the earth" all over. And sometimes the spaceship that he landed on, it would possess him. It would just start saying "take the earth." Then at the end of the movie, you see in the notebook all the ways he was going to kill the people. Then eventually he will fly high above the earth and start shooting lasers down from his eyes. That was him taking the earth. That's what the men of the Lord are going to do. And that's why these white people, the U.S. military, Europe, NATO, all these different countries, that's why they've been beefing up their military. That's why the biggest budget of America's spending goes towards the military, because they know they got to fight us after we receive salvation. They're gonna have to fight a bunch of Black Panthers, Killmongers, Superman, and Superman is black. Can't no white man sit out in outer space above the earth directly in front of the sun. So Superman is black. You're gonna have to fight millions of Supermen because we gonna take the earth. Chronicles 16:35. And say ye, save us, O Yahweh, God of our salvation. Save us. That's Israel. This is not everybody. That personalizes this verse. God of our salvation. And gather us together. Gather us from what? Gather us from all the lands that we were scattered to. What's he about to get into? And deliver us from the heathen. So gather us from the heathen. All the lands that we were scattered to. And that's salvation. You're gonna be gathered from all the lands, from among all the heathen, taken up into the chariots, crowned and given our new bodies, while the destruction passes. Then we're gonna come down and take the earth. And how we gonna take the earth is we're gonna all the elite they gonna go down in these underground bunkers. That's another reason why they know their time is short. Why do you even have an underground bunker to begin with? And if you go to YouTube, search luxury underground bunkers, they got underground bunkers that cost millions of dollars. They got beaches, libraries, plants, bars, food, weapons, ammo, water, elevators, multiple floors. These people gonna be living better underground than we living up here while the destruction passes. Some of their bunkers gonna be destroyed in the destruction anyway. But after we come down off those chariots, we gonna be hunting them out these underground bunkers. That's gonna be us taking the earth. Now let me jump to Jeremiah the 16th chapter real quick. And so this scripture is gonna prove that why the white man has a military. He knows he's gonna have to fight us after we get our spiritual bodies. We're gonna be made as angels. Also, why do they have these underground bunkers? So they can go hiding to escape the Lord's wrath. Some of them will survive the destruction, but what happens after the destruction clears? They know we coming for them, and the Lord is gonna raise us up to pretty much be hunters. And when you understand what an angel is, an angel is one of the most savage, fearful creations ever made. When I say savage, I don't mean beastly or dumb or unrighteous. I mean that they have no remorse. The angel is not sweet and cuddly like America and the Christian church make you believe. An angel is a very fearful thing. And when we consider an angel, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, he'll have mercy on us. But the angel won't have no mercy. And that's showed in the scriptures. So the Lord, the Most High Yahweh himself, will have mercy before his angels do. Now, this is Jeremiah 16:16. This shows that they know what's coming, and they've been prepared for this. That's why they got a military. That's why they got underground bunkers. They know what we're going to be made into. Jeremiah 16:16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And the scripture outlines a lot. And what the Lord says, sending for many fishers, not to fish for fishes, but to fish for people. And that's what we out here every weekend making lessons in between. We're fishing for believers. We fishing for people to abide in this truth, to seal the Lord's elect. We are the fishers. We fishing in the people. And what's one of the major tools that they use in the ancient days to fish? Even today, they use a net. And what's our greatest tool for fishing for believers? It's the internet. Just like the net pulls these fishes in, we on the internet, which is a digital net, to fish for the believers and pull them in. And that's the spirit that is called the internet. It's just a digital net. And the internet wasn't created for the pleasure or making our lives easier. Yeah, it does that, but ultimately, the Lord had the internet created so that in the end days, we could fish for the believers via the internet. Because, yeah, I'm out here, I might not talk to nobody, or I might talk to 10 people, but 50 people might see my videos here and all over the world. And that's the great thing about the internet. So let's continue this verse. And we the fishers. That's why we out here. That's why we doing this. That's why we so serious and do this so diligently. We believe in this. We believe that we're gonna possess the heathen as servants. We believe that we're gonna possess the earth. We believe that we're gonna have all the riches of the earth. We believe that we're gonna get these spiritual bodies and be made into gods and angels. And we believe that we're going to hunt down the people who made our lives a living hell and our ancestors' lives a living hell. So I'm going to start over. Jeremiah 16:16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. That's what's going on now. What comes after this fishing process? It says, and after will I send for many hunters. So we're going to be turned to hunters. What do hunters do? Simple, they kill. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain, and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. Where are these underground bunkers at? They holes underground. They holes in the mountains. They carve out and hollow out these mountains. So they literally got cities and roads under these mountains, underground. They have a whole road system. So again, and after I shall send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. And this is going to be the elite, the richest, wealthiest, the World Bank leaders. This is who we're going to be fishing. This is who we're going to be hunting out the holes of the rocks. And this is what we wait on. This is what we believe on. And this is why we do this, because we want to do that. Because they the reason why I got to go to work every week. They the reason why you got to go to work every week. They the reason why we only making $10 to $20 something an hour. why they got billions of dollars. They the reason why we can enjoy life like we want. They the reason why our hoods are set up the way they are. They the reason why we oppressed and stressed and a disease-stricken people. They the reason why all our people in jail and they get wrongfully accused and longer prison sentences. They the reason for everything. They the reason you sick right now. They the reason why you sleepy. They the reason we gotta go buy groceries and pay for water. They taking everything that's free, that's from the earth, and they made us pay for it. They turned the earth into a business. The earth is the biggest corporation. Why we gotta pay for apples and apples free? Why we gotta pay for water and it fall from the sky? Oh, cause they contaminated it. Oh, so they can sell us clean water. Why did Bill Gates of hell buy up all the farmland when fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds and beans is free? Oh, well I own it all, so you gotta. Hey, so so we the fishers, and we hoping to be turned into hunters, so we can take these people who made our life a living hell, and we gonna show that. So now we're gonna go to Revelation 13 and 10. I took a twist on this lesson, but we're gonna come back around. Revelation 13 and 10. I'm gonna start at 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Meaning, if you understand this and hear this. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Who took us into captivity? Into our worst captivity. The white man, the Edomites. So they going into captivity. We gonna take them. Let's continue. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So he must be killed with the sword. And that don't mean just a literal sword. That's a gun, a needle that they trying to inject us with. That's fried chicken. That's potato chips. In all our neighborhoods, that's Black and Milds and blunt wraps and cigarettes that they sell in all our neighborhoods. That's the GMO foods. That's the sword. That's the rope that they hung us with. That's the sword. Um, all this medicine that they give it to these black folks. That's the sword. Pretty much everything that the white man created is a sword. So he killed us with the sword. He must be killed with the sword. So not only is we gonna hunt them out the holes of the rock, we're gonna kill them for killing our people, for killing our ancestors for thousands of years, going all the way back to Abel, who Cain killed, and Esau spiritually comes from Cain. And the ones we don't kill, we're gonna take them into captivity for taking us into captivity. And they had us in captivity for about 400 years. We're gonna have them in captivity for 1,000 years. So we're gonna reign with Yahawadah on the earth for 1,000 years, with the heathen given to us as an inheritance to be our servants. Now we're gonna show the very same people who oppressed us, they're gonna be our servants. And we believe in this and we want this. And that's justice according to the scriptures. Because I think the scriptures say something like justice and judgment is before his throne. Let me look for that real quick. Yep, Psalms 89 and 14. Justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. So justice and judgment is what the Lord executes while he sits on the throne. What's justice? Justice to the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans by being raped, robbed, murdered, tortured, and wrongfully treated and dealt with treacherously. That's justice. To raise us up and to put them down. And what's their judgment? That we get to do them how they did us. That's the best judgment. Well, why do we even have a court system? If somebody kill your child, don't you want to kill them? Well, according to the scriptures, you could. But that's why justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. That's justice to us, judgment to them. We're going to take them, and we're going to do what they did to us, but they're going to receive double what they did to us. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. So his face will be the wisdom and understanding of the scriptures. So us abiding these scriptures, we're going to receive the truth of all things. We're going to receive mercy. And matter of fact, I'm going to go to the book of Obadiah. What was done to us, they're going to receive double. So we know the white people are called the Edomites. That's the nation of Edom. We're going to read one, then we're going to jump to verse 15. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord concerning Edom. This is concerning Edom, the Edomites, the white race. Now, I'm going to skip the rest of the verse. We're going to jump down to 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto them. So as they done to us, it's going to be done to them. Thy reward shall return upon their own head. A reward is pretty much something you get in return. A reward is not always good. It's just often used to describe something good. But their reward, as we read in Revelation 13 and 10, they're going to be killed by the sword for killing us, and they're going to be taken into captivity for taking us into captivity. Matter of fact, I think it's Revelation 18 I'm looking for. Revelation 18 and 6. Reward her. See, their reward shall return upon their own head. So the same thing they pushed out is going to happen to them. You reap what you sow. As you do, it shall be done unto you. That's what this is going into. Reward her, even as she rewarded you. So do to them as they done to us. So reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. So give her double. She took us into slavery, give them double slavery. They killed and tortured and murdered us and tried to wipe us out. Well, we're going to actually wipe them out at the end of all this. And the cup which she had filled to her double. So the same measure of torture that she gave us, give her double. But remember, we fishers, fishing for the believers who can be turned into hunters to hunt them out the holes of the rocks, to kill them as they killed us, and take them to captivity because they took us into captivity. And the people that we're going to be taking to captivity is going to be the wealthiest, richest people, the owners of the bank, the Rothschilds, the people that can afford to go in these underground bunkers that's made in the holes of the earth, underground, inside the mountains. We're going to take them captive. We're going to rule over them because they took us captive and they oppressed us. Now, Isaiah 14. This is going to sum up a lot. And this is what this is for. Because remember, what did the Lord say to Yahawadah? I give you the uttermost parts of the earth, and I'll give you the heathen as thy inheritance, as servants. All right, let me jump to Revelation. What is that? I think it's 19 real quick. We're going to show that we're going to be joint heirs with Yahawadah. Actually, it's probably 20. All right, so here we go. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. And the first resurrection is those of us who die for this truth. We're going to be raised up to receive the kingdom of heaven here on the earth, and we're going to reign on the earth along those who didn't die. So rather they endured to the end to receive salvation, or we die for the testimony of Yahawadah, um, together we're gonna be resurrected, and we're gonna reign on the earth. So dying for the testimony of Yahawadah is not a bad thing. It's a fearful thing to be put to death, especially when you see it coming. But what did the scriptures say? Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. So that's speaking for the dead who died in his truth. It's not speaking for those who are alive. So if you die for this truth and you die for the testimony of Yahawadah, blessed and holy are you. You're going to be blessed to be part of that first resurrection. Now, the first and the second resurrection, we ain't gonna get into that today, but we're gonna show that we're gonna reign on the earth with Yahawadah for 1,000 years. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Yahawadah, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. So Yahawadah is going to be given the uttermost parts of the earth and be given the heathen as an inheritance. And those who take part in this first resurrection and those who receive salvation, we're going to reign on the earth with Yahawadah for 1,000 years. So we're also going to possess the earth. We also going to possess the heathen as an inheritance for servants and handmaids. And who's going to be our servants and our handmaids? Those who's hiding in these underground bunkers, inside the mountains, inside the holes of the earth. The very people who are oppressing us, the very people who got the earth in the state that it's in. So now we Isaiah 14, we're going to start at verse 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob. Who is Jacob? The children of Israel. And will yet choose Israel. So mercy is only for Jacob, only for the children of Israel. He's only choosing the children of Israel to receive the promises. So again, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel, and will set them in our own land. We're going to be set in our own land. And because we're not in our own land now, because the Lord scattered us among all nations of the earth, we're living in the land of the heathen. So we're living amongst the heathen. We're strangers in their land. And what's going on today? All the strangers, when they see us, they cuss us out. They call us niggers. They want to get away from us. They can't stand the sight of us. They just want to get away from us. But the Lord going to flip that. So again, the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel, and will set them in their own land. And the strangers, the heathen nations, shall be joined with them. So it's going to go from these heathen nations. They can't stand us. They want to get from around us. It's going to be, the Lord going to change that. And these heathen nations, the strangers, they're going to cleave to us. Cleave means to hold on to something. Wherever we go, they're going to want to go. Because they know the Lord is dealing with us. And if they're with us, they're going to be blessed through us. So they're going to cleave to us literally. They're going to bow down and cleave to us literally too. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. But they're going to cleave to the children of Israel, the house of Jacob, the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. We're going to take them and bring them to their place. What happened in slavery? They took us in chains and brought us to our place. Brought us to the fields and to the shacks. They brought us into captivity. That was our place. What's their place? It's going to be captivity. So we're going to take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them. So we're going to possess them as an inheritance along with Yahawadah. Let's continue. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord. So we're going to possess them in the land of the Lord, which is the kingdom of heaven here on the earth. So the kingdom of heaven We're going to be kings and they're going to be servants. It's pretty much the opposite of what's going on here in America. Right now, America is their heaven. This is the white man's heaven. We're going to have our own heaven. That's going to be the kingdom of heaven uh, that's prepared for us from Yahawadah Yahawashi himself. So in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to be serving us. We're going to possess them. And that's justice and judgment. That's the justice and judgment of the Lord. That's justice for us, that they serve us in the kingdom. And that's judgment for them, that they serve us for oppressing us. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, in the kingdom of heaven, for servants and handmaids. We're going to possess them as servants and handmaids. We ain't got to go to work no more. We ain't got to wake up and be sleepy no more. We ain't got to gather all this food and work and do all this stuff to survive no more. They gonna cook and clean for us, or we cook and clean for them. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives. We are gonna take them captives. Revelation 13 and 10. Those who lead into captivity shall go into captivity. They took us in captives, so we're gonna take them captives. So again, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. We were their captives at first. So in return, because of the justice and judgment of the Lord, we're going to take them captives. And they shall rule over their oppressors. So we're going to literally rule over our oppressors. Who's oppressing us? Mainly the white man, the Edomites. You're going to rule over them. And the white man know this. That's why he's shooting us down in the streets. That's why he's trying to wipe out our bloodline through these VACCINES. They're trying to wipe out our genes. Planned Parenthood. They're trying to stop us from having babies. Also, with this VAX, they are what the hell they doing? They I can't even think of it. They sterilizing our people. Everybody who took that, they can't have children now. And that's why they shooting us down in the streets. It starts with the men. If you wipe out the man, you wipe out the nation. That's why they got homosexuality running through the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If everybody be homos, we can't have children no more. We'll be wiped out because they don't want us to rule over them. They don't want to go in captivity under us. They don't want to be our servants and our handmaids and our slaves. Because they know they're going to go into a harsh captivity for 1,000 years. We're going to rule over them. And that's the white man's greatest fear. Why do they got all these guns and all these tanks? Well, first they fear us because we're stronger than them. We a warrior tribe of people. We a warrior nation. We're the Lord's warriors. And what else? They fear that, what they fear a black uprising. Now that black uprising also includes the Hispanics, but they fear a black uprising, that's what they call it. And that's the whole reason to have a military, to prevent that black uprising. And what else? They got that military, they can fight us off and keep us under control and kill us if need be. And what's their ultimate fear of a black uprising? Us overtaking them. And we doing to them as they did to us. And what did they do to us? They took us into slavery, made us serve them. That's the white man's greatest fear, is to go into slavery under us. And their greatest fear is actually, as we see, Bible prophecy. It's in the scriptures. It's going to happen. And what's going on right now? All this chaos going on with this pandemic, with this VAX, all this stuff that's going around. You got people uprising, protesting against the government in all these white countries. They losing their power. They losing their grip on the world. Now it's like a gang, they start going at it with one another, the gang crumble. And then somebody else coming to power. As they falling apart, we coming together. We being gathered together, being the body of Yahawadah. And that's going to be set in stone at his return when he establishes us as a nation as they continue to fall out with one another. They falling out with one another is going to lead to World War III. And that's why we so diligently look for this time. Because World War III is white on white crime. Let's talk about black on black crime. But white people, they still the most violent people on the earth. They do way more violent crimes than we do. We ain't never dropped a nuke on nobody. They're gonna be dropping nukes on each other and all over the world. They're gonna wipe themselves out. And then we're gonna take the earth. So I don't know how long I've been going in on this, but that's the reason why we teach every week, throughout the week, making lessons, studying. Um, and that's why we always send to people scriptures. I don't text many people these days, but anybody that if you talk to me, because what's the big talk right now? Anybody you talk to, what's going on in America? I'm gonna always send people scriptures, and that usually ends the conversation because people don't want to hear these scriptures. That's kind of like before we came into truth, you had that crazy aunt or your grandma or a crazy person who's always talking about the scriptures. But what was they talking about? Oh, save this is that, keep the law, the commandments. It's bigger than that. It was bigger than that. Us receiving the power and the glory and receiving the earth and the heathen as our inheritance, being joint heirs and rulers with Yahweh Shai. That's what this is about. So now that we got the complete truth and understanding of the Bible, we always talking about the scriptures. And again, that usually ends the conversation because people don't want to hear this. But hey, the scriptures is a sword. Matthew 10 and 34. I came not to send peace on the earth, but a sword. And the sword is its truth, is the scriptures. People be getting the hell away from us once we start sending scriptures and talking about the scriptures. That usually end the conversation. But we don't care what people want to hear. The scriptures is what we want to hear. It comforts us. It comforts us to know, yeah, I gotta get up and work 12s next week overnight, but hey, our redemption is coming. Our salvation is coming. We ain't gotta work forever. Because what if the world wasn't? What if the Lord wasn't coming back this generation? You know what that means for all of us that's in this truth? That we got to continue to work 40-hour weeks for the next 30 to 50 years, however long we got on the earth, if the Lord didn't return. We got to continue to pay taxes for the next 30 to 50 years. The white man got to rule over us for the next 30 to 50 years. We got to keep obeying his laws. You're going to keep passing laws and legislation that don't include us. Stuff gonna keep getting more expensive. We being the middle class, we gonna keep getting poorer, as said by them. We gonna keep dying off by cancer and other diseases and illnesses at an increased rate because of the food that they giving us, the stuff they putting in the water, the stuff they putting in the air. It would be no way out. It would be no escaping. But guess what? We got an escape now. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai returned. Hold on, is these people doing? It just clicked. Oh, hey, forgive me. I about went off real quick. Oh, people, let me see. Hold on. Oh, they probably thought I was at the stop sign. But anyways, um, we got an escape now, and that's the Lord coming. We ain't gotta continue to work and be sleepy. Hey, being sleepy sucks. To me, being sleepy is worse than being sick. Cause when I'm sleepy, I gotta keep doing what I gotta do. Hey, but at least if I'm sick, I can go to sleep. And what else? Oh, we gotta keep watching the police shoot us down in the streets for the next 50 years. Keep watching our people go to prison, die in prison. White men getting off on killing us. We ain't gotta see that no more. because this generation, the Lord is returning, and that's a great thing. All this stuff is it's about to be over with. It's about to go up in flames, and we can't wait for it. We can't wait for all this stuff to be done away with. So, and this is what we wait for. This is why we out here fishing for the believers, so that we can return, just so we can earn our crown, earn our mercy and salvation, and so we can be joint heirs and rulers with Yahawadah. And you women, hey, y'all should be in this too, because what women always say, the black man ain't shit, or the black man can't do what he's supposed to do. Oh, well, the black man is at the bottom. Well, the Lord set us up that way, because in the scriptures it says the first shall be last and the last shall be first. We last, so we gonna be first after all this. But guess what? The sisters that's in this truth, you can get with a black man, and guess what? He not gonna be on the bottom no more. Guess what? He gonna be treating you right, because we gonna be living according to the scriptures. And y'all, hey, that goes for y'all too. Y'all women gonna get right. We're gonna take care of our children. We're not gonna be oppressed. We're not gonna be struggling to take care of our families. We're gonna be able to protect our families from the white man. We're gonna be the kings of the earth. So you women, you gonna have the number one man on the planet. The man that you have, everybody gonna want him. Everybody gonna idolize him and worship him. That's what's coming to you women. So the man of the Lord is gonna be a great gift to the woman. That goes for the brothers in the truth. We all say, hey, the women for the streets. Well, guess what? The Lord gonna give you a woman, and that woman is gonna be given a new body. She's gonna be made more beautifully than she's ever been before. She's gonna be made like an angel. So however good they look now, it's not about that, but they're gonna be way more beautiful than they are now. And she gonna be made correctly. She's gonna be in order. And what's the order of the woman? To be under the man. So your woman is gonna serve you because you serving the Lord. The woman, she gonna be comforting to be around. And what else? And it's gonna be like, and she gonna be pure. Meaning it's gonna, whatever women the Lord gives the man, no other man, that woman won't be touched by no other man but you. So all the women gonna be made virgins again. She not gonna be defiled and corrupted by these other men, by their spirits, cause them spirits stay with the woman. And me being older, I definitely that's definitely true. So we got a lot to look forward to um, with the return of Yahweh Shai. But I mean, before that, we got to be part of that elect that's going to receive salvation. Now I'm gonna jump to the book of First Peter. But ye are a chosen generation, and we the chosen generation because we get to see the Lord's return. We get to see this current system, the white man's system, the white man's heaven. We get to see this go up in flames. We get to see it fall and crumble. We get to see the end of it and the beginning of our kingdom. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. We are royal people, and a holy nation of people, a peculiar people, that you should shew forth the praise of him who called you out of darkness into this marvelous light. Because the Lord called us out of darkness, out of the misinformation that was forced on us by America, by the Edomites. That's Christianity. That we Negroes, that everybody was made equal, that he the Israelis, that America is going to be here forever. That's all misinformation. That's all darkness. And he called us out of darkness into this marvelous light, which is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. And all the other lies that he pushed on us. Aliens, spaceships, just all kind of BS. That's all lies. Everything that we learned is a lie. Everything that we hear is a lie. Imagine living in a world where everything you hear is backwards, but all the backward stuff you hear, it sounds correct to you, and that's pushed forth as truth. That's America. They tell you drink milk, milk good for you. Milk causes breast cancer and to blow up our people, and to give our men man boobs. Milk ain't good for you. They tell you to um, eat a bunch of carbs, and what's they carbs? Processed sugar, processed white flour. That stuff causes diabetes and high blood sugar, and to make you go blind. It causes brain disease. And what else would they tell you? Brush your teeth with fluoride toothpaste. Well, fluoride kills you too. Fluoride is used in rat poison, and they put fluoride in the tap water. They say they helping your teeth. Well, really, they killing you. What else do they say? Um, you got to eat a bunch of meat. You got to eat a bunch of protein to get muscles. Well, what happened to you? Our people get fat. They get clogged arteries. They die from heart attacks. Um, what else do they say that's backwards? Oh, celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, you celebrating the white man conquering you. Everything they say is backwards here, but it all sounds correct to us. That shows how brainwashed and effed up we are. But again, we gotta shoot forth praises of him who called us out of this darkness into this marvelous light. And we a chosen generation to get to witness this light. Because it wasn't for the generations that came before us. We get to see all this stuff crumble. We get to see the building up of the true church, the body of Yahawadah, the elect. Which in time past were not a people. Because in time past we were the people. Meaning we weren't a people of the Lord. When we was calling ourselves Mexicans, Indians, and Negroes, we wasn't a people of the Lord. We was a people of the white man. Because Mexicans, Negroes, that's a term that the Edomites created. They created the nigga culture. They created the Mexican culture here in America. Pop culture, hip hop, that's all created by the white man. They went in the lab and they came out with something and said, this is what we're going to push out in the black community. And that's what we live by. But now, coming back to the scriptures, coming back to the Bible, we are now a people of the Lord again. We are now that royal priesthood, that holy nation, that peculiar people again. But it says in the time past, we're not a people, but are now the people of God, because now we're the people of God, because we are this chosen generation to receive of this marvelous light, which had not obtained mercy. We didn't have mercy in the past, but now we're going to obtain mercy by being in this marvelous light, by having the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. It says, which had not obtained mercy, but now have attained mercy, because now we have obtained mercy. And we've obtained mercy by coming into this light, which is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. Serving and praising Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We now got the name of the Lord. They tried to erase that name. They fear that name, like they fear Freddy Krueger in his movies. They don't want people saying that name. Well, that's resemblance of the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Because once you start to speak that name, the Lord will start to take action. And this is what they fear. And that's why we out here being fishers. That's why we out here teaching. And the women and also the people who don't teach. But that's why they believers in this. Because we're going to be rewarded for teaching, but the believers, they're going to be rewarded for believing. The believers, they're going to also possess the earth. They're going to also possess the heathen as an inheritance. They're going to also be joint heirs and rulers with Yahweh Shai. They're going to also rule over their oppressors. We believe in this, and this is what we want. That's why when you go back to Revelation 13, I had skipped that part, but let's go back to it. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the last part of that verse. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. This is the patience and the faith of the saints coming out here week after week teaching. This is the patience and faith of the saints for the believers. They believe in and abiding in this truth, not sleeping on the truth, not being drunk with other doctrines. They solely believe on this truth and nothing else. And they study every day. Like we out here week after week studying and making lessons, they studying daily. They studying just like we got to go to work, they got to study. And so do us. And that's what we do. And we put studying and teaching above work. Sometimes I take off work just to sit and gather notes and resources to put lessons together. Some people too. Sometimes they don't want to go to work. Guess what they doing? They studying. And studying, reading, taking notes, watching videos, lessons, following along with the scriptures, and keeping an eye on prophecy, see what's going on in the world. Because we waiting, we looking for Yahawadah. We look for him through the prophecies to know the times and seasons that we in. But this is all the patience and faith for the saints. Being turned into hunters, that's the patience and faith for the saints. It's going to be the hunters that kill them with the sword. It's going to be the hunters that take them to captivity, that hunt them out the holes of the earth and the rocks and in the mountains. That's the patience and faith for the saints. We believe that. We patiently wait for that, and that's our faith. And it's going to be the saints that rule over the oppressors. It's going to be the saints that hunt them out of the earth. It's going to be the saints that killed them with the sword for killing us. It's going to be the saints that violently take the earth because it was violently taken from us. We are going to take the world like the movie Brightburn. And that's going to be the first order of business after the destruction, after the smoke cleared and the fire cleared. We're going to take the earth. That's the first line of business. That's going to be the first command of Yahawadah when we come out these chariots. He's going to tell us to take the earth. And we're going to come down from the skies as the Avengers, the true Avengers. The idea of the Avengers is really taken out of the scriptures. We are the Avengers of Israel. We're going to take the earth. And that's the patience and faith for the saints. And anybody that's teaching, that's believing on this work, they patiently waiting because they have faith. To have patience on something, you got to have faith in it. You got to wait because you believe it's going to happen. If you got a bus stop, you patiently wait for the bus because you have faith that the bus is coming. And we have faith that Yahawadah and these holy angels is coming. And not everybody believes this. That's why everybody can't abide in this truth. That's why everybody can be occupied in these scriptures and in the prophecies like we can, because we got a different kind of faith. People say they believe this, it makes sense, it's good information, but they don't believe it like we do. We was made different. And when it says ye are a chosen generation, this not all of Israel. This not all the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The chosen generation who's called out of darkness and set out marvelous light, this will be the elect. We are that chosen generation. This is the chosen generation, but within this chosen generation, there's a chosen people. And also, when we there was somewhere I wanted to go. I can't remember, but this is the patience and the faith for the saints. Now, I didn't jump into these scriptures that I planned on going into. I spirit kind of took me in another direction. Excuse me, but I wanted to show why we so serious about this. So people who meet me out and about, either at the park or Dollar General on the square, this is why I'm out here. This is the patience and faith of the saints. We are the fishers who's hoping to be turned into hunters to take the world. Who wouldn't want to take the world? You can own the world and everything in it. Our dreams is bigger than living the American dream, owning the business, having two jobs, getting a degree, having a career. Our dream is bigger than that. Our dream is taking the world. And this is the patience and faith for the saints. But before that, we got all kind of hell to go through and to endure. Now, lastly, I'm gonna bring out a few scriptures. We're gonna jump to. We read Genesis already. We're gonna go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 25. Because in fact, the Lord scattering His people is all through the scriptures, and the Lord scattered us. You know, that was part of prophecy of us disobeying them. That was judgment to us, and for disobeying the Lord. So Deuteronomy 28:25. And the Lord shall cause thee, the house of Israel, to be smitten before thine enemies. To be smitten means to receive a blow, to receive damage. So we're being afflicted by our enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee seven ways before them. So, no, we go out one way against our enemies, but we gonna flee seven ways before them, meaning we gonna scatter. And what happened? Well, what usually causes us to scatter? That's law enforcement. When the police roll up here, everybody scatter. And shall be removed into all kingdoms of the earth. We were removed into all kingdoms of the earth. That word removed is there. We was removed from the Holy Land. We was removed from our homeland, land of Israel and Jerusalem. We was removed into our land and put into all these other kingdoms of the earth. We was removed into our kingdom and put into the kingdom of the heathen nations. The white men, Asians, Arab, Indians, Africans, everybody around us. So now we're going to jump to Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. He scattered us among all people. From one end of the earth even unto the other. That's why you got Negroes and Hispanics in America, in Europe, in India, in China, in Japan. He scattered us from one end of the earth to the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods. And what's that? Christianity. That's other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. That's the cross. When you see a cross, it's often made out of wood or it's made out of some kind of stone, cement, marble. These statues of Jesus and these baby angels, that's what we worship and serve. So again, the Lord will scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even to the other. And there shalt thou serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So now I'm going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 27. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against this land, against the land of Israel, to bring upon it all the curses that are written in this book. All the curses of the book of Deuteronomy and throughout the scriptures was brought upon the land of Israel, the children of Israel. And the Lord rooted them out of their land in anger. And the Lord rooted us up out of our land. To be rooted up is to completely remove something like a tree. So he completely removed us out of the holy lands. And again, and the Lord rooted them out of their land in anger and in wrath and in great indignation, and cast them into another land, as it is to this day. To this very day, we still in the land of our captivity. We still in the land that the Lord cast us into. And the Lord casting us here, meaning we was brought here out of our control. And he cast us here into by these slave ships. And let's get another one. We're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind. Meaning, when we call them to mind, when we read the curses in the Bible and think about them, like, man, we fit these curses. These curses apply to us. And shall call them to mind among all the nations, whither Yahawadah thy God hath driven thee. And call them to mind among all the nations, whither Yahawadah thy God hath driven thee. So among all these nations where the Most High driven us to, cast us into, we calling the curses to mind. We thinking about them and reading about them and we teaching them. And that's how we know that we're the Lord's chosen people, is by the curses. Now, if you go to Nehemiah chapter 1, verse 8 and 9, remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, if ye transgress, I will scatter you abroad among all nations. We will scatter among all people. And us being scattered among all people, we not in our land. It's like when children get taken from a parent, they get scattered in the foster care system. They scatter amongst different people. They're not in their own house. So they're a stranger living with other people. So in every country of the world, we are a stranger. We don't have our own land. I'm gonna throw this out there, even in Africa, we're living as strangers. We can live comfortably and in peace with the Africans, but we're not African. The Africans is the ones that sold us to the white man. The Africans took us into slavery back in ancient Egypt. So even we living under them. Verse 9, but if ye turn unto me and keep my commandments and do them, though there were of you cast unto the uttermost part of heaven, yet I will gather you from thence, and I will bring you into the place that I have chosen to set my name there. So the Lord said, if you transgress, I will scatter you among all nations, but if you turn to me and keep his commandments, though we were scattered to the uttermost parts of heaven, he will gather us from those places and set us in the land that he chose to put his name. That would be the holy land of Israel, Jerusalem. So our salvation, he's going to gather us from this place and set us back in our own land. That was promised to Abraham. Now we're going to go to Psalms 44. Verse 11. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen. And the Lord has given us like sheep appointed for meat, meaning he pretty much packaged up, he pretty much made us as cargo to the other nations, so that the other nations can eat us and devour us. Not physically, but they can take us and do what they wanted with us. Let's continue. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen. We were scattered among the heathen. the Lord's people being scattered is all throughout the scriptures. And it's common knowledge that we were taken from our land. It wasn't no other group of people that was taken from their land like we was taken. We was taken from our land, Israel, Jerusalem, and then they stole our land. And we wasn't just shipped to America. We were shipped to Europe, shipped to India and China. We were shipped farther east. We were shipped everywhere. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen. What's a byword? Byword is being called something that the Lord didn't call you. So a color, African American, Afro-American, Negro, those are bywords. And thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. So the Lord made us a shaking of the head among the people. People see us on TV, see us out in public, they shake their head at us. They so poor, they so stupid, they don't know what's going on. They look at us like animals and shake their heads. They take tour buses and drive them through the ghettos and look at us like animals in the zoo. And we could be far from people. They shake their head at us and walk the other way. But the Lord gonna change that. They're not gonna shake their head at us no more. They're gonna want to cleave unto us. So now we're gonna go to Jeremiah 9:16. The Lord's gonna reverse all this. I will scatter them among all the heathen, whom neither they nor their forefathers have known. And I will send a sword after them, till I have consumed them. So the Lord scattered us among all the people. Then he sent the sword after us, and the Lord put out a hit on us until he consumed us. And he consumed us, most definitely. And then that's the thing. These other people, when they went into captivity, they didn't have the sword come after them. We went into captivity, then the sword came after them, after us. That's the difference between our captivity and the captivities of these other people who are not important. And this was made perfect by the white man, because we were scattered among the white man, and then the Lord sent the sword, which is the white man, after us, because the white man is the sword in the Bible. Genesis 27. What was Esau blessed with? What was the first white-born person blessed with? By Isaac. He was blessed to live by the sword. So he is the sword. Jeremiah 22:26. And I will cast thee out, and thy mother that bare thee, into another country, where ye were not born, and there shall ye die. So when the Lord said, I will cast thee out, and the mother that bare thee, he will cast us out individually, but in the mother that bare us is the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel is the Lord's woman. That's our mother. So he will cast out the entire nation from the Holy Land into another country, starting with America and all these other countries, where ye were not born. We wasn't born here, and there shall ye die. We wasn't born here as a nation, but this is where we die. Meaning we'll be cast into another country, never to return to our homeland. But with that being said, I'm gonna end up with Luke, the first chapter. I'm gonna start at 67. And his father Zacharias was filled with the Holy Spirit and prophesied, saying, Blessed be the Lord, blessed be Yahweh, God of Israel. Even in the New Testament, the Most High is called the God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people. He visited us by the Holy Spirit, calling us into this marvelous light, giving us the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures. And he's redeemed us by the blood of Yahawadah. And he redeemed those who was called into this light, who was called into this truth. He redeemed us spiritually. Next, he's going to physically redeem us from this place and have raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. Horn represents power. So you can also read, he have raised up a power of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. So a power of salvation from the bloodline of David. That's Yahawadah. That's why he was often called the son of David. And also, Solomon is Yahawadah in the spirit. That's the spirit of the Son of God. So, a power of salvation for us, for the Israelites, in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. So we've been prophesying this since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. So the Lord is coming to save us from our enemies and all those that hate us. Who's our number one enemy? The Edomites, the white man, the Romans. The Lord is coming to save us from them. Because if not, they are going to wipe us out in Jacob's trouble. They are going to try to completely exterminate us off the face of the earth. And all the other people that hate us. The Chinese, Japanese, all these other people hate us. So if white people don't try to wipe us out, the Chinese going to try to wipe us out. They're going to do evil towards us. But the Lord's going to save us from them. That we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, to form the mercy promised to our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and to remember his holy covenant. So that mercy, so the new covenant is to remember the old covenant, to have mercy on us. So the new covenant is the old covenant, just with a greater reward. The oath which he swore to our father Abraham. And what's the oath that he swore to our father Abraham? To have mercy on us and set us in our own land, that he will grant to us, that we, being delivered out the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear. So that's why we a chosen generation, to see the end of all of this. It's gonna all go up in flames, and we're gonna be called. Damn, this thing died. Oh, it didn't die. I'm tripping. My bad. Y'all know I got all up in the camera, but this is why we do this week in and week out, and this is why we teaching. This is why I'm out here trying to be a fisher, and that's why the believers. That's why they believing on our works, because they want to take part in this too. I don't know about y'all, but I want to get up out of here. Now that's gonna wrap it up for this lesson. That's us showing that the Lord's people being scattered is all throughout the scriptures. I read just a handful, but really, you can read like every book of the Bible, and it's going to talk about the Lord's people being scattered. Because this is the more evident scriptures where you can read it, and it says, yeah, either got the word scattered or be cast to another land in there. Other scriptures, it talks in parables, meaning it metaphorically speaks of us being scattered into other lands. But we're going to close our ear. We're going to face the east. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahawadah, Bahashim Rakakadash. Yahweh willing, I'll be out tomorrow to bring forth another lesson.